See, the first topic is discrete mathematics. In the first topic is logic and proof. See, first, what is the proportional logic? The proportional is the collection of the declarative sentence that has either truth value, true, or a truth value is false. A proportional consists of the proportional variables and connectives. The connectives connect the proportional variables. See, we will see some examples. A man is mortal. Yes, the truth value of this statement is true. And one mathematical statement is 12 plus 9 is equal to 3 minus 2. Is this statement is true? 12 plus 9. The answer is 12 plus 9, 19 plus 21, and 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. Okay, this is not equal. So this statement, the truth value of this statement is false. And the following is not a proposition. You know, the proposition is it will take either truth value, either true or false, but not both. See, this is the example of not propositions. Yes, this statement is not a proposition. See, A is less than 2. Yes, here we cannot predict any value for A. Yes, unless we give a specific value of A, we cannot say whether the statement is true or false. And in this topic, we will see the 5 connectives are and, negation, implication. Implications means if P, then Q. This is called conditional statement. And next, if and only if. This is called a biconditional. And R means disjunctive. And means conjunctive. And this is negation. That is not. And implication means if P, then Q. And if and only if means a biconditional. Okay. Then, see first, what is R? In R statement, this is called a truth table. Take any two statements, that's a proposition A and B. Here A and B are any two propositions. This is the value. True means what? The proportional take the true values and B proportional take the true values, right? So A or B means what? The disjunctive of A and B. So the false statement, the disjunctive statement is defined. If the both proposition is false, then the disjunctive of A and B is a false. That is, see the last line. If A is false and B is false, the result A or B is also false. And the remaining statements are true. Let us say that A true, not true, and A is true, B is false, and the result is true. And A is false, B is true, the result is true. Okay, this is R statement. And then AND statement. So AND is what? A disjunctive of the two propositions. So you take A and one proposition and B is another proposition. This is nothing but A conjunction. R means a disjunction. This is what? Conjunction, A and B. So now we'll define this as both the propositions are true, then the conjunction will be true. See the first line, see the first row of this table. A is true and B is true, then the conjunctive A and B is true. And in the table, the remaining entries are false. And then negation, this is very simple. If A is true, take one statement or propositions. So the given one is true, then the negation value is false. Or the given statement takes the false value, then the negation value is true. And next we will see the implication. Implications means conditional statement. If P, then Q. This is called a conditional statement. And implication A conditional B is the proposition. That is if B, if A, then B. Okay. So we will see this. whenever A is true and B is false, then conditional statement A conditional B is false, and the rest cases are true. You see the second row, the table is see the second row. A is true and B is false. The conditional statement A conditional B is false, and the remaining values are true. This is a conditional statement. And then next, see the biconditional. See, biconditional means if and only if. See here in this table, both the values are true, then the biconditional value is true. Both the values are false and the result will be true. Okay, that is plus into plus plus and minus into minus is also plus. Okay, see, take this first row, true into true, the biconditional value is true, and A is false, B is false, then the biconditional value is true, and the remaining entries are false. Okay, these are the 5 connectives. Next we will see the definition of a tautology. So when you say that a tautology, a statement formula or well-formed formula is called a tautology if it is always true for every possible truth values of the variables. That is the resultant value. Some statement is given or propositions are given. Okay, the final result will be true. For every final result will be true. Okay, then we can say that the given one is a tautology. And otherwise, that is if it will take all false value, the resultant will be all false, then the statement is called the contradiction. Okay, next we'll see contingency. Both the value occurs, the final result column, both the value occurs, the true or false value, some true values or some false value exists. Then we can say the given formula is a contingency. And next, so now this is an example. See, in this table, A is one statement, B is another statement. See the final value. So you have to calculate first A or B and negation A. Now this is what the final resultant value. So A or B and negation A. So A, take A values and B values, take both the values are true and true into false, and this is false and true, and both the values is false. So first find out A or B. So we know that A or B, the disjunction value. Yes, both the values is true. Disjunction means both the values is false, then the disjunction is false. A or B is false, and the remaining entries are true. And write the negation A. Negation A means what? True or false. If it's false means the negation is true. So write down all the entries, negation A. Then finally find out the A or B and negation A. So take 3 column and the 4th column, 3rd column and the 4th column. So now take the conjunction of 3rd and 4th. What is meant by conjunction? That is and value. Both the values, both the statements is true, then the result will be true. See here. In here, the 3rd row will be both the value is true. 3rd row true and 4th column the 3rd row is also true. Okay, so true, true. So the result will be true. This is the conjunction. And the remaining entries. See the other entries, true, false, and false, true. Okay, so whenever and will be true, and the remaining entries are false. Okay, this is the next. Now see the last resultant column. Some false value and some true values are exist. Therefore, this is called contingency. Suppose the final result, all the values are true. The last column, all the values will be true. Then we can say that the resultant will be what? Tautology. Okay, next. The equivalence statement. The two statements X and Y are the given statements. The two statements are said to be equivalent if any one of the following two conditions are held. The truth value of each statement have the same truth values. Or the biconditional statement X biconditional Y is a tautology. Right? If one of the conditions are satisfied, we can say X and Y are logically equivalent. See, this is an example for logically equivalent. Negation of A or B and negation A and negation B are logically equivalent. So find out, write down A and B column and A or B column and find out the negation of A or B column and negation A, negation B column. Yes, and see the negation of A or B. See, this is the fourth column, negation of A or B. A or B means you know that both the values are false, then the result will be false, then the remaining entries are true. And negation means what? True means false. If it is true, then false. Negation value is false. If A or B is false, then the negation is true. And find out negation A and negation B and take the conjunction of this fourth, fifth and sixth column. Take the conjunction of fifth and sixth column. The conjunction means what? Both the values are true, then the result will be true. See the last row, true, true, the result and will be true. And the remaining entries are false. Okay, now, so what we have to prove? Negation of A or B and negation A and negation B are the two statements are logically equivalent. So check the truth values of these columns, that is fourth column and the seventh column. Yes. So the values will be same. First three rows false, false, and the last will be true. So it will take the same truth value. So we can say the given statement negation of A or B and negation A and negation B are logically equivalent. Okay, this is an example. And see, this is another method. So the first method we have proved what? Logically equivalent. And this is the another method, biconditional. So the second method is what? We have to prove that the given statements are logically equivalent. That is the biconditional is tautology. This is the second method. So find out the biconditional of these two statements. And we have to prove that as a tautology. Tautology means the final result will be, all final result will be true. Okay, this is the second method. Yes, and then see, this is some definitions: inverse, converse, and contrapositive. See, first, before saying this definition, first of all, we should understand what is the conditional statement. See, the conditional statement means what? If P, then Q. It's called a conditional statement. It has the two parts. One is the hypothesis P, and second statement is Q is the conclusion. That is P conditional Q. Here the first part P is said to be hypothesis, conditional, and Q. That Q is called a conclusion. That is if P, then Q. If P means a hypothesis, then Q is another statement. It is taken as the conclusion. Okay. This is the notation for P conditional Q. Okay, and then, so this is an example for the conditional statement. If P means what? If you do your work, then you will not be punished. Here, you do your work means what? This is an hypothesis. This is P. Take this is P. So now read it. If P, then you will not be punished. Take this statement as the second statement is what? You will not be punished. You take this as Q. Now this is the conclusion. Okay, now read this as if P, then Q. Now this is called a conditional statement. This is an example. And now we will see what is inverse. The inverse of the conditional statement. So to find the inverse or converse contrapositive. Yes, the three definitions is applicable for only what? A conditional statement. Whenever the given statement is a conditional statement, then only we can write the given statement into the inverse form, converse form, or a contrapositive. See, the inverse of the conditional statement. So the given statement is the conditional statement. The inverse of the conditional statement is the negation of both the hypothesis and the conclusion. That is, the mathematical notation is what? The given statement is a P conditional Q. What about the inverse of the given statement? Take the negation of the both statement, hypothesis and also negation. That is negation P and negation Q. So now take the condition for this. So negation P, conditional negation Q. This is said to be the inverse. Given statement. So the statement is, if you do your homework, then you will not be punished. Now this is your given statement. Can you write the given for this statement? And you have to find what? Negation. Negation. So negation of what is the hypothesis? You do not, yes, you do not do your homework. And this is P, hypothesis. And what is the conclusion here? The given conclusion is what? You will not be punished. This is the conclusion. Take down the negation for this. You will be punished. This is the negation of the second statement. And write down the conditional statement for these two. If you do not do your homework, then you will be punished. This is the inverse of the given statement. Okay, next. And we will see the converse. The converse means what? The converse of the conditional statement is computed by interchanging the hypothesis and the conclusion. This is said to be the converse. So whenever the given statement is, if P then Q. What about the converse? You have to interchange the place, the conclusion and the hypothesis. You have to interchange. So in this part, P is the hypothesis and Q is the conclusion. Yes, take the interchange. And now this is said to be what? If Q then P. This is converse. So whenever P conditional Q is a given statement, the converse of the statement is Q conditional P. Now this is the converse. And finally, we will see the contrapositive. So the contrapositive of the conditional statement is computed by interchanging the hypothesis and the conclusion of the inverse statement. So to find the contrapositive, first of all, we have to write the given statement into the inverse form. And after that, you interchange the hypothesis and conclusion. See here, the given statement is what? See, now this is the given statement. If the statement is, if P then Q, this is the given statement. So what we have to do first? To find the contrapositive, first of all, we have to write the inverse. So how to write the inverse? Take the negation of the hypothesis and the conclusion. So that is if not P, right? That is if not P, then if not, then not Q. This is the inverse and interchange this. That is if not Q, then not P. This is the contrapositive. That is, the mathematical notation is what? The given statement is P conditional Q. If not Q means what? Negation Q. Conditional negation, not P means a negation Q. Now this is a contrapositive. Okay, next. This is an example of the contrapositive. The given statement is, take the same statement. If you do your homework, you will not be punished. Take the same statement. Okay, this is the converse. Okay. Can you think about what is the contrapositive of this one? What about the contrapositive of the statement? Whenever P conditional Q is a given statement, the contrapositive is negation Q conditional negation P. Now this is the converse only. Okay, the contrapositive means what? If you do your homework, this is if P, then you will not be punished means Q. So if P, then Q is a given statement. The answer is if, what is the answer? A negation Q. So what about the negation of Q, this one? What about the negation of the statement? You will be punished. If you will be punished, see, you will not be punished is Q. Then the negation of this statement is what? You will be punished. So take if negation Q means what? If you will be punished, then the negation of the hypothesis. The negation, the given statements, you do your homework is the given one. The negation is you do not your homework. Okay, this is the contrapositive. Next, we will see the duality of principle, the dual principle. The dual means, the dual principle states that for any true statement, the dual statement obtained by interchanging union into intersections or intersections into unions. If dual of any statement is statement itself, it is said to self-dual statement. See, the given statement is A intersection B, a union C. This is the given statement. And see, now this is the given statement. A intersection B union C is the given statement. So now take down the dual of this one. The dual means interchange. Intersection will be union and union will be intersection. So the answer is A union B intersection C. This is the dual form of the given statement. And we have the two normal forms. For the in propositional topics, we have the two normal form. One is conjunctive normal form and second one is disjunctive normal form. Can expand this, a principal disjunctive normal form and principal conjunctive normal form. The notation is a PDNF and PCNF. We can extend this conjunctive normal form. From conjunctive normal form, we can extend principal conjunctive normal form PCNF, and disjunctive, from disjunctive normal form we can extend principal disjunctive normal form. And see, this is the example of conjunctive normal form. This is an example. A compound statement is a conjunctive normal form if it is obtained by operating and among the variables. See, this is a conjunctive normal form. See, each and every statement we have and only. So now this is called conjunctive normal form. This is an example. Okay. Next, see, this is another example. PRQ and QRR. So now here in first statement example, and this is intersection. Both are same only. You can use R and R union and intersection. This is called disjunctive normal form. And finally, before one is a conjunctive normal form. Now we will see the disjunctive normal form. Yes, the disjunctive normal form is each and every compound statement union will be occur, or disjunction is appear. See, now this is P and Q, R, Q and R. So in between these two statements, R, that is union, will occur. See the previous one, A and B, this is one statement, and A and C is another statement. Now in between these two, the disjunction, that is R, occur. And this third statement is B and C and D. Okay, this is an example. So disjunctive means, disjunctive normal form means the disjunction of understatement. Conjunction normal form means the conjunction of the or statement. And next, This is an example problem. Which one of the following proportional logic formula is true when exactly two of P, Q, R are true? The answer is P biconditional Q and R are P and Q and negation R. This is another example. The following proportional statement P conditional Q R R conditional P and Q conditional R. The correct answer is satisfiable but not valid. Hello? Voice audible, ma'am? Hello, students? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now listen. First we will see the simple interest. See what is simple interest? When the interest is calculated on the original principal for any length of time, it is called the simple interest. Okay. So we have calculated the simple interest by using this formula. A simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. So what is P? P is nothing but principal. And R is a rate of interest. A T means time or period. Okay, divided by 100. This is the simple interest formula. Okay, and the amount, the total amount after 1 year or after 2 years, what is the total amount? Okay, for investing some amount, right? For 2 years or 3 years, what is total amount? To calculate that amount, principal plus interest. The amount is equal to principal plus interest. So interest means what? This is a simple interest. Using the formula PRT divided by 100. Yes, we can calculate the simple interest. And principal means what? We have invested some amount now initially, that is called principal. Okay, so principal plus interest is equal to the total amount. Okay. From this formula, you know that simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100, no? So to calculate simple interest, yes, what are the things we need? PRT. Okay, suppose if you know simple interest and rate of interest and time, using this result, you can find the principal value or rate of interest value or T value. Do you understand, ma'am? So here we have the four. What are the four things? Simple interest, a principal and rate of interest and time. So the four unknowns, suppose to find the one of the value from this, you can use this result, right? Okay, ma. So we can use this formula. We can calculate the rate of interest or time or principal value. Suppose the rate of interest is differ from year to year, right? The formula is simple interest is equal to P into R1 plus R2 plus suppose this R1 is means what? The rate of interest for the first year. Okay, plus the second year the rate of interest will be differ, no? So take plus R2 and plus R3 means what? For third year the rate of interest, okay, plus etc. divided by 100. Did you understand, ma? R1 means the rate of interest for the first year and R2 means the rate of interest for the second year plus etc. Okay, anyway, this is what? P into R into T divided by 100. Okay, this is the basic formula in simple interest. Okay, and now see the first problem. The sum of money at the simple interest, the amount to rupees 815 in 3 years and to rupees 854 in 4 years. Calculate the principal value. That is find the sum. Okay. So for 3 years, listen ma, the sum of money at simple interest amount to rupees 815 in 3 years. Okay. So you invest some money. Initially you invested some money, right? After 3 years, they are getting rupees 815. Here this in 815, the simple interest also included for 3 years, right? And for after 4 years, they are getting what? Rupees 854. Okay. Using this for fourth year minus third year amount, when you subtract from fourth year to third year, you will be getting what? The simple interest for the 1 year. Okay. So now this 854 minus 815. So equal to what? Rupees 39. This is what? Simple interest for 1 year. So 1 year simple interest is what? Rupees 39. So what about for 3 years the simple interest? Rupees multiply by 39 by 3. So 39 into 3. So you'll be getting what? Rupees 117. This is the simple interest for the 3 years. So already the value is given for 3 years, the total amount. This 815 means what? Simple interest plus invested amount. That is a principal amount, right? So principal plus simple interest. The total value is 815. Now you just calculated what? Only the simple interest for the 3 years. So rupees 117. Okay. So now this is what? A sum of principal plus what ma? Principal plus simple interest is 815. Okay, when you subtract this 815 from 815, subtract this 117. Okay, that is a principal plus simple interest minus only simple interest value for 3 years, 117. Okay, 815 minus 117. The answer is what? 698. Okay, this is what? A principal. Okay, this amount only you invested initially. For this amount only after 3 years you are getting 815. For the simple interest for 3 years rupees 117. Okay, for 1 year is 39 and 3 years is 117. Okay. Did you understand ma? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, see the second problem. Mr. Thomas invested an amount of rupees 13,900 divided in two different schemes, capital A and B, at the simple rate of 14% per annum and 11% per annum respectively. If the total amount of simple interest earned in 2 years be rupees 3,508, what was the amount invested in scheme B? Okay, you have to calculate only the simple, the amount invested in scheme B only, not A. Okay. So the total amount is, you are having what? Suppose you are having 13,900. Okay, this is your amount. Initially you have 13,900 amount, right? So you have to invest this amount in two different schemes, capital A and B, at the different rate of interest. For scheme A, the rate of interest is 14%, and for scheme B, the rate of interest is 11%. Okay, after 2 years, the period is time is what? 2 years. You are getting what? The total amount of the simple interest. So this is only simple interest for scheme A and scheme B. The total amount of the simple interest is what? 3,508. Okay. So first, let me take for scheme A, you invest some amount. Take that amount as X. From 13,900, you invested some amount for scheme A. So take that amount as, so take this is unknown value. So take that amount as what? X. Okay, the remaining amount, that is 13,900 minus X. The remaining amount will be invested in what? The another scheme, a B. Okay, so now this is the principal amount for scheme A and scheme B. For scheme A, the principal amount is X. For scheme B, the principal amount is what? 13,900 minus X. This is the principal amount. And the rate of interest for R value is for scheme A 14% and scheme B is 11%. So you know R value. And time, the period for both the scheme, the period is 2 years only. So you know the formula. See this, to calculate the simple interest, what is the formula? P into R into T. So principal value and into rate of interest into the time. Okay. So from using this formula, you can calculate what? A simple interest, right? But the total amount in both the scheme, the total amount is the principal, the simple interest is 3,508. Okay, for first scheme A, calculate the simple interest. What is the formula? P into R into T divided by 100. So what is P here? The principal amount for scheme A, so X, R 14%, right? So 14 divided by 100 into the year, the period is equal to what? 2. So you can get what? Using this formula, you can calculate the simple interest for scheme A plus. Next, for scheme B, calculate the simple interest. So the invested amount is for scheme B 13,900 minus X. Okay, this is taken as the principal into the rate of interest for scheme B 11% per annum. So into 2 years, the years is same in both the schemes. So into 2 divided by 100. Okay, so this is one simple interest for the scheme A plus this is simple interest for scheme B. When you add these two values, the total amount is already given. Okay, this is 3,508. Okay, now simplify this result. So here X only is unknown. So simplify this result. You can calculate X value. What about X value? X is the invested amount in scheme A. But our question is calculate the invested amount in scheme B only. Okay, so first calculate the X value and substitute that X value in 13,900 minus X. You can calculate the invested amount in B. Okay, so listen here. So the denominator is 100. So take 100 as common. So take this 100 into the right side. So 3,508 into 100. Okay. So you get what? 3,50,800. This is your right side value. And in the left side is 14 into 2, 28. So 28 into X, so 28X minus. So keep only X term in the left side. So 11 into 2, 22. 22 into X minus 22X. Okay. So 28X minus 22X equal to. So already you have the right side term as 3,50,800, and then the remaining amount without X term. Which one? 13,900 into 11 into 2 what? 22. Okay, take this term into the right side. So plus of this term is a minus of 13,900 into 22. Okay, when you simplify this result, so left side is 28 minus 22, you'll be getting 6x. So 6x is equal to 45,000 and x is equal to 7,500. Actually, this x is what? This is this value is what invested amount in scheme A. But our question is find the invested amount in scheme B. Okay, substitute that value here, 13,900 minus x. X is 7,500. We will be getting 6,400. Okay, this is the invested amount in scheme B. Okay, the next one. See the third one. The sum fetch a total simple interest of rupees 4,016.25. The sum fetch a total interest of rupees 4,016 into 16.25 at the rate of 9% per annum in 5 years. Find the principal. What is sum means what? Find the principal amount. Okay, so you know the formula. Simple interest is equal to what? Write down the formula. What is the simple interest formula? Write in your notebook, ma. Simple interest is equal to, what is the formula? P into R into T. That is PRT divided by 100. Okay, this is the known formula. Simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. Okay, now in this problem, we know the simple interest value, that is 4016.25, and the rate of interest also you know, and time is 5 years. Okay, using this result, find out the p value. So what is the p formula? Right. What is p value? P is equal to, what is p value? Simple interest into 100. So you actually you know the formula. First, basically you write the formula. Simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. From this result, write down the formula P. So what is P value? P is equal to simple interest into 100 divided by R into T. Okay, now substitute what is simple interest? 4016.25 into 100 divided by R into T. So what is R? R denotes the rate of interest. So the rate of interest is 9%. So 9 into 9 by 100, no, that 100 will be already wrote in the numerator. Okay, so 9 into, the period is for 5 years. So into T is equal to 5. Okay, now you simplify this result. Okay, you'll be getting what? The principal amount. The principal amount is 8,925. Then next, is it clear? See the fourth one. How much time it will take for an amount of rupees 4,450 to yield rupees 81 as the rate of interest is 4.5% per annum of a simple interest. Okay, from this you have to calculate the time. So what are the things given? What are the things given? What are the things given? The amount, that is principal value, is P equal to, write a P value, P is equal to 450 and rupees 81 as an interest. So take a simple interest is equal to 81 and 4.5% per annum. No, the value is simple interest value. Okay. And R value, the rate of interest. Okay, rupees 81 means the simple interest. And 4.5 means R value. R value is taken as 4.5%. That is a rate of interest. So R is equal to 4.5. Okay. So find out the time, how much time it will take, right? So again write the same formula. So what is the formula? Simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. From this result, write down the T value. So keep a T only in the left side. Okay, so time T equal to simple interest into 100 divided by principal into the rate of interest. What is a simple interest, ma? 81 into 100 divided by the principal value is 450 into the rate of interest is what? 4.5. After simplifying this result, you'll be getting what? Answer is 4. Okay. So write clearly this. 100 into 81 divided by 450 into 4.5. Okay. 450 into 4.5. So you'll be getting 4. So 4 years will take. Okay. And then next, see the fifth problem. Arena took a loan of rupees 1,200 with a simple interest for as many years as the rate of interest. If she paid rupees 432 as the interest at the end of the loan period, what was the rate of the interest? See, Arena took a loan of rupees 1,200. Okay, so the principal amount. Okay, initially she will take what? 1,200. Take this is what the principal amount. So write principal amount P is equal to what? 1,200, and with the simple interest. With the simple interest. The simple interest is not given. The simple interest for as many years as the rate of interest. Okay, so we don't know the rate of interest is also. Okay, so anyway, so we'll take if suppose the rate of interest is R%, and what about the time is also R years because it is given as many years as the rate of interest. Suppose your rate of interest is 4%, then the time will be 4 years. The rate of interest is 5, and the years time will be what? 5 years. Okay, next. So take rate of interest, capital R is equal to, when I am taking rate of interest is what? A capital R%. Okay, that is rate of interest is R%, and take the time. And time how many years? R years, capital R years. If suppose rate of interest is 2% and the time will be take 2 years, 3% and 3 years. Okay, because this is given. And then next, if she paid rupees 432 as the interest at the end of the loan period. Okay, the simple interest is given. Simple interest means what? SI. Simple interest is rupees 432 is given. What was the rate of interest? So you have to calculate the rate of interest. So very simple. So take rate of interest is what? R%, and time is also same in terms of R years. So what is simple interest formula? So write down the simple interest formula. Simple interest formula is what? PRT divided by 100. Okay, now substitute. What is P? 1,200, and what is rate of interest? R, and what about the period time? Same R. Okay, so 1,200 into. So first R denotes the rate of interest, and the second R denotes the time, the period. Okay, divided by 100 equal to. The simple interest is also given. So what about the simple interest? She paid the simple interest is what? 432. Say take a simple interest is 432. Now simplify the result. So 1,200. So 100 la 20 and 1,200 la 20 get cancelled. 0 get cancelled. So you are having only 12 into R square is equal to 432. And R square is equal to 432 divided by 12. So you will get what? 36. So R square equal to 36. Your R will be 6. Okay. So the rate of interest is what? 6%. And what about the period? Period is also 6 years. Okay. You can answer for 2 questions. The rate of interest is R%, and the year. How much time it will take means what? The year is R year. 6 years. Okay. That's all. And then see the sixth problem. The sum of rupees 12,500 amounts to rupees 15,500 in 4 years at the rate of simple interest. What is the rate of interest? Here, the sum of rupees 12,500 amounts to 15,500 in 4 years at the rate of simple interest. Okay. So now, for 12,000, subtract this to calculate the simple interest. So after 4 years, you are getting 15,500. So subtract 15,500 from 15,500 minus 12,500. So rupees 3,000. Now this is what? A simple interest. So the question is, what is the rate of interest? So the rate of interest, what is the formula? Rate of interest R is equal to simple interest into 100 divided by P into T. Okay, so P means what? The principal amount. So what is the answer? Rate of interest, capital R, is equal to simple interest. Here you are getting simple interest. For this problem, simple interest is 3000. So 3000 into 100 divided by, yes, the principal amount. Initially you invest how much? 12,500. After 4 years you are getting 15,500. Okay, so what about the interest? Subtract 15,500 minus 12,500. So you are getting 3,000 as the interest. Okay, so now this is what? Answer is 6%. So this is the rate of interest. And the next, see the next problem. An automobile financier claims to be lending money at a simple interest, but he includes the interest every 6 months for calculating the principal. If he is charging an interest of rupees of 10%, what about the effective rate of interest becomes? So in this problem, you have to calculate the effective rate. Okay, listen. Let the sum be. So here, the invested amount is not given. So I'm taking the invested amount, the principal amount is what? Rupees 100. Okay. And then the simple interest for the 6 month. What is the formula? Simple interest for 6 months, because every 6 months only calculate, right? The interest will be calculated for every 6 months. So take the period is what? A 6 month. So, but anyways, the simple interest formula PRT divided by 100, the T is calculated for year only. Okay. So here we will consider a 6 month, that is half of the period, of the year, right? So now, what is the simple interest formula? The simple interest is equal to P into R into T divided by 100. So here we don't know that P value, principal value, but anyway we assume that value is 100. So now take this as P 100 into R. The interest is also given, percentage 10%. So 100, this 100 denotes is what? The principal amount. Okay, next into 10 means the rate of interest into a 6 month. So a 6 month means what? Half of the year. So take that period is 1/2 of year, right? Half of the year means, so 1/2 year. Okay, so that is P into R into T divided by 100. Okay, so and rupees 5. So for 6 months, the simple interest is what? Rupees 5. These are the first 6 months. And then next, you have to calculate what? Next last 6 months. So 1 year, first 6 months, the interest, simple interest is rupees 5. And the next, we need to calculate what? Last 6 months. Okay, last 6 months means what? Initially, now, your invested amount is what? 100. So now the simple interest is 5. So now you are having a, then 7th month. Okay, then after that, now your initial amount is what? Initial amount is what? 100 plus 5, 105. Now this is your principal amount. After 6 months, your principal amount is 105. Okay. So now your principal amount for the last 6 months, take 105. The rate of interest will be same in both 6 month period. So 105 into the rate of interest is 10 into for the last 6 months. The 6 months is also what? Consider as this is half of the year. So that is 105 into 10 into 1/2 divided by 100. So the answer is 5.25. Rupees 5.25. Okay, first 6 months, the simple interest is rupees 5, and last 6 months, the interest is rupees 5.25. Okay, but initially these are interest, simple interest. Okay, here now we calculated the simple interest, not the whole year. We split the year into two parts, 6 months, 6 months. First 6 months you are getting the interest is 5 rupees, and then next 6 months, that is last 6 months, you are getting the simple interest is rupees 5.25. So anyway, total interest amount for the whole year 10.25. But what is the principal amount you invested? 100 rupees. Plus, this is your interest amount, 10.25. So total amount at the end of the first year, the amount is 100 plus 10.25, that is 110.25. Okay. Next, the effective rate. The effective rate means what? The total amount at the end of the year, you are getting 110.25, and initially you invested amount, the principal amount is what? 100. So when you subtract this value, you will be getting the effective rate. So the effective rate is what? 10.25, right, in a percentage. So 10.25 a percentage. This is called the effective rate. Okay. And then a lent rupees 5,000 to B for 2 years. A lent rupees 5,000 to B for 2 years and rupees 3,000 to C for 4 years on a simple interest at the same rate of interest. And finally, he received the amount rupees 2,200 in all from both of them as an interest. So this 2,200, it denotes only the simple interest. So the question is, find the rate of interest per annum. Okay. So now to calculate this, what? Here, in this problem, you have to calculate the rate of interest. The answer will also given 2,200. The same type of problem already we did, right? I think, yes, second problem. Yes, the same type. The second problem, we have calculated the principal amount. So we don't know the principal amount. That's why you took the principal amount as initially for both the scheme, first scheme X and second scheme on the total amount minus X. Okay, now the same model here. So you'll try this seventh problem. The model is same. Okay, that is eighth problem. Same model. In this problem, the p value is given for B, and for C the p value is given, and the rate of interest is also okay. The rate of interest will be not given, so take that value as R. Okay, so P, R, and T. What is T? The period. So for B, the period is 2 years. So take a PRT divided by 100. So for B, take the period as 2 plus. For C, the formula is 3000 P, R, and T. So what about T? T is equal to 4 years divided by 100. So the sum total, this is the interest formula, simple interest formula. When you're adding these values, we'll be getting what? Total interest. So the interest received in finally, the amount is 2,200. So write 2,200. So when you simplify this result, so you're getting what? R is equal to 10. That is 10%. Okay, next. Ninth, same problem. And then the sum of money amounts to rupees 9,800 after 5 years and rupees 12,005 after 8 years at the same rate of simple interest. The rate of interest per annum. The rate of interest per annum. See here, the sum of money amounts to rupees 9,800 after 5 years. So after 5 years, you'll get 9,800, and then after 8 years, you're getting the total amount is what? 12,005. Okay. Now this is what? the total amount. In the 9,800 it denotes what? A principal plus simple interest. And this also what? A principal plus simple interest. So when you subtract this 8 years minus the 5th year, 8th year minus the 5th year. So you'll be getting what? Only the interest. For how many years? 3 years. So to calculate this, simple interest for 3 years is equal to 12,005 minus 9,800. So the answer is rupees 2,205. This is what simple interest for 3 years. From this result, you can calculate the simple interest for 1 year. So simple interest for 3 years is equal to 205. So what about the simple interest for 1 year? So divided by 3. So you'll be getting the simple interest for 1 year is equal to 2,205 divided by 3. So this is for 1 year. So what about the simple interest for 5 years? So you can multiply by 5. So now 2 for a simple interest for 5 years is equal to 5 years is equal to, so for 1 year how much? 2,205 divided by 3. This is for 1 year. So how did you get for 5 years? Divided by into 5. So okay, 2,205 for 5 years into 5. So you are getting only simple interest for the 5 years, 3,675. But so already is the given amount for after 5 years. This is the sum amount, right? So how much? 9,800. So anyway, this 9,800 denote what? The principal plus simple interest. After 5 years, you invested some amount initially. After 5 years, so you are getting 9,800. So now you are calculated only the simple interest. Now you calculated the simple interest for 5 years. This is what? 3,675. So therefore the principal is equal to 9,800. This is what? Principal plus simple interest minus subtract only the simple interest, 3,675. So you're getting what? 6,125. So now this is a principal only. Okay, 6,125. Okay, using this result you can calculate, but our question is what? Find the rate of interest. So the rate of interest. So what is the formula? Rate of interest formula? R is equal to simple interest into 100 divided by principal amount into a period time. So now simple interest is what for 5 years? 3,675 into 100 divided by the principal amount is 6,125 into time. So for 5 years only we have calculated. So into 5 is equal to 12%. Okay. Next term, what will be the ratio of the simple interest earned by the certain amount at the same rate of interest for 6 years and that for 9 years? So now in this problem you have to calculate the ratio of the simple interest. So to calculate this we don't have formula. We don't know here the principal amount and the rate of interest. Yes. So only here only is given. Okay, 6 years and 9 years. So write down the formula for first one, the simple interest formula to calculate the simple interest for 6 years. So the formula is what? A PRT divided by 100. So let us assume the principal amount for first one is P and rate of interest is also R. So the formula will be what? A PRT. T is 6. So PRT divided by 100. This is for first one. And second one is PRT into for 9 years into 9 divided by 100. So now cancel this 100 PR. Okay, finally we'll be getting only 6 by 9. So the ratio is what? 2 by, that is 2:3. 2:3 means what? The ratio. Okay. Next, I will see the compound interest problems. So these are the basic formulas in compound interest. See this compound interest formula. Okay. See, these are the basic formulas. In compound interest, take the principal is same P, principal amount P, and rate of interest R, and time in the n years, right? When the interest is compound annually, when the interest is a compound annually, the amount is what? P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. The amount is P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. Next, when the interest is compound half yearly, in this case, the formula is what to amount, to calculate that amount. P is equal to, that is amount equal to P into, P means the principal amount, 1 plus for half yearly. So take the rate of interest is R by 2 divided by 100. But here, half yearly only you calculated. So 2n. And quarterly means what? P into 1 plus the rate of interest is R by 4 divided by 100 whole power. Quarterly means 4 times you have to calculate in year. Okay, so 4 times. So 4 into n. Compounded quarterly means what? 4n. When the interest is compound annually, but the time is in a fraction. Okay, suppose the time is not, see the first case annually, second case is a half yearly, and third one is quarterly. Okay, whenever time is take in terms of a fraction, so that is 3 years and 2 by 5 years. So in this case, write down the formula P into, for 3 years, write the formula P into 1 plus 3 years is a whole number. Okay, so write 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. So n means what? Compounded annually. So for 3 years. So take replace n by 3. So 1 plus R by 100 whole power 3, and then into next 1 plus 1 plus, and next year is what? 2 by 5 into R divided by 100. And then next, in the rate of interest for the different years, say R1 percentage, R2 percentage, etc., R3 percentage for first year, second year, etc. Then the formula is P into 1 plus, for first year means 1 plus R1 by 100. For second year means 1 plus R2 by 100. Third year 1 plus R3 by 100, etc. Okay. And now see this problem. A bank offers a 5% compound interest. A bank offers a 5% compound interest calculated on yearly basis. A customer deposit rupees 1,600 each on 1st January and 1st July of a year. At the end of the year, the amount he would have gained by the way of interest. So you have to calculate the compound interest at the end of the year. Okay. See, the first to calculate this. So here, first of all, you have to identify what is the PRT. Okay. So to calculate the amount, what is the formula? So initially, first 6 months. Okay, half yearly basis you have to calculate. So what is the formula for half yearly basis? Half yearly basis P into 1 plus R by 200 whole power 2n. Okay, next step. See, the first 600, first initially he invested rupees 1,600, taken this is as P. So P into 1 plus and half yearly means what? R by 2. So here R is a 5. So 5 by 2, that is 5 by 2 into 100 whole power 2. Okay. Next plus, and next at the month of July, he deposited the same amount 1600. Okay, so the formula is what? 1600 1 plus n by 2 into 100. Okay. So now for first amount you invested no for 1600. So from January to first 6 and second 6 month. So this is what for whole year. Okay. So whole year means n is equal to 1. That's why here 1600 plus pi by 2 into 100, take n is equal to 1. Okay. So when you simplify this result, you are getting what? The amount you are getting, the amount is 3321. Okay. Anyway, if you have to calculate the interest only. Okay. So now 3321 minus 3200, your invested amount. In January you invested 1600, in July you invested 1600, so total amount we invested what? 3200. This is your principal amount. But interest simple, that is compound interest including the principal is what? 3321. When you subtract this 3321 minus 320, so you'll be getting only compound interest, rupees 121. Okay.